Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Here we are. Last day before the season resets. Um, what I mean by that is right here, if you look at profiles, in 7 hours and 52 minutes, the monthly season ends, and then you get to reap the rewards of anything that you get in here. Is there a possibility of pushing this? Yeah. Um, I did some mono red drive. Want to say on the other account, and I won like 10 in a row to make the push in a very, very short period of time, which would be really kind of cool. Um, so this is the ranked mono red deck that we've got. It is full of squeeze, full of Urbask Forges, full of magmatic sprinters, and some reckless impulses along with all this other stuff. What I found on the other one was that I didn't like these reckless impulses as much, and I did like adding things back like play with fire. I also like, I think, two more lands and like these antagonizes and stuff like that didn't make the cut in my other deck as well. Where are those play with fires? Do we not own any play with fires? That could be why we don't have them. So the Hexgold Slash doesn't hit any creature, it just hits creatures. Or like it doesn't hit like face the way play with fire does. Oh, we do have play with fire. It's already in there. Hmm. Hmm. What am I missing? And the festivities. I do like those. Those are actually super useful in board wipe situations. I like blazing the crescendos a lot. We're going up to 20. We're going to come down on these reckless impulses. The only reason why we can get away with getting less reckless impulses is the Urbask Forges and the Squeeze. The Squeeze come back out of the graveyard, so it's like getting a free card draw as long as you've got enough mana and the cards in the graveyard to allow them to swing right back in. And then the Urbask Forge just never quits. And yeah, people have figured out that there are some ways to pull it off the battlefield, but for the most part, kind of hits them by surprise. It's not something that happens to us too often. Cammy's Flames and Lightning Strikes are good. I especially like Cammy's Flames when we've got things like Free from Flesh in there. Kamano Faces Kakazan also throws a 1+1/+1 counter on the second step, and these things are going to make those modified creatures, which means that there's an extra 2 damage that comes across. 2 damage doesn't sound like that much until you play a mono red deck and you realize, like, wow, you can deal so much damage so quickly. That extra 2 damage speed up is it's big. It's worth big time. We could get rid of this reckless impulse and throw like an electrostatic in there. Sometimes those can get out of hand pretty quick, and that's always fun. Um, I think that's probably it. Do we have a fourth squee? We don't have a fourth forge. We don't have a fourth magmatic sprinter. So we're pumping, we're burning, and we're attacking on the early side of things. And we're just, I mean, without the festivities, I do think that we're at a little bit of a disadvantage, but it's not too bad. So we're going to save and exit this. But just something to remember. We've got an opportunity. Let's take a look at our daily. It is red or green spells, but unfortunately it's only 500 gold. So we are going to take a swing and get 25 lands. Well, I can do 25 lands. That's going to be hard not to do. So we're popping that real fast. We're currently sitting at 800 gold. If we get a few wins, we might be able to do 2 jump-ins back to back real quick. And I think maybe that's going to probably be what the day looks like. There's not much else in here that, like the midweek magics and stuff like that all kind of came to their conclusions. The starter deck duel still sits, but we've already completed it, so there's no reason to look into that. Color challenges, sealed, remastered, ends in a day and a little bit. Quick draft ends in 2 hours and 48 seconds. This was a lot of fun. I did one of these yesterday too. That was a blast. I think we got 5 wins and pulled every single rare that we pulled was one that we didn't own that we needed a copy of. So I was really, really happy. I was like, what? All right, so let's go play some lands. Might as well. We're risking nothing. We're risking nothing. Let's just jump into ranked with the red deck. And yeah, it's funny. We have like a daily that says you have to play lands, and so we pick a deck that has like the least amount of lands possible. Okay, if we didn't have the squee, it would be a mulligan, but we do. So, oh, there's our fourth land. It'll go with this. I wish I had a creature to play right here, because I'm gonna lose the +1/+1 counter. We're literally gonna take the entire turn off, which is like usually death in mono red. Okay. Yeah. Sure. We don't let our mana expire. Here we go. And here we go. And here we go. And we're swinging for 5. That's not bad. That's not bad. We'll be swinging for 6 in the next turn and then lethal after that. We can swing for 9 actually in the next turn. We're adding 3. I think I'm more likely going to do a Cammy's Flame and swing for 6. But, yeah. If you can't tell, I'm getting over something. Still. After a week of getting over something. And then a week before that of getting over it. It's just never ends here. Interesting, interesting, interesting. We're still going to pop it. Mr. Card Draw is going to be a little frustrated. So, after an extremely slow start, opponent kind of took 2 turns to try to figure out what to do here. And unfortunately, we're at 5. So, if we're at 5, that's currently at 4. Yeah, this is close. Alright. We don't have the amount of cards in here that we need to get the squee back out. And the Forge, as good as it was only going to be 1 additional damage. This really forces their hand. They got 1 mana left, and they got to have 2 blockers, or they're over. So, just kind of keeping the pressure alive with the Magmatic Sprinter was a better answer. Okay. We didn't get a lot of lands, but we got 5 of them done. Yes. That's amazing. And 3 more lands. Voldarians, Mass Swift Spears, Free from Flashes, Cammy's Flame. Yeah. Alright, so turn 1, turn 2, and then maybe turn 3 if we need to do a removal. Would love to see one of our upper end guys, like the Squee or the Forge and stuff like that soon, but we don't have to. We don't have to worry about it yet. Bang, bang. The Voldaren Epicure is only good because of the fact that it has the blood token. It's like a draw thing. Okay, so we go here, we go here. We come down, we say, yeah, I'll attack, and then we see what the block looks like. Yeah. We can do this. Cool. So the reason why the Blazing Crescendo is so good. Yeah. No. We'll do this. Do I just delete the ambitious farmhand? I think so. We have a modified creature. We get the extra 2 damage, so it's a total of 3 damage, 2 to the face and 1 to the player. That happens. That's a pretty good breakup. Come on. Cool. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We want the card draw. We gotta play with fire. That'll help with like whatever little guy that they throw out. Not that little. Next. Attack. He had nothing but weak guys. Like, kind of low-level players. He picks the Bank Buster, huh? Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm just going to do this just to avoid that. That's going to get painful. So many little guys. There's a Mondrak coming. This has been all mono white. Yeah. I mean, we can just sit back and wait. Get another one of those. Come on. Pull the double lightning strikes, huh? What's up? Flibble flip. So we haven't had anything above a Blazing Crescendo as far as deck is concerned. And unfortunately, this keeps happening. Wait a minute. Come back here. So let's stop. Don't do an annoyant. Come on. Lightning strike. Dude. Lightning strike. That's not going to do it. Lightning strike. Or forge. That's weird. You're not going to want another one of those. That was weird. This is weird too. Why are you loading up for a long game? I just need one card. I mean, I've got 3 more lightning strikes in this game, so pass. Come on, lightning strike. That's a card. Where's my guy? Isn't he supposed to come back? Yeah. Thank you all. go. Did you forget that that was going to happen? I should have been... I guess I can't. Well, yeah. 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 I could really use that draw now. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I can survive one more. But this is it. My last draw. Oh my god, dude. Why are you so into drawing cards? I really just want that one little card. So, as far as chances here are concerned, we've got... Just stop it. Just do your thing. We got a lot of cards that could kill us too, unfortunately. Yeah. Come on. Good game. You have no more mana left. Mono red. Mono red. Okay. The power of the Voldarian. Got flashed back. Got that extra little itty bitty piece of damage, and that was enough. So I don't know. Is 2 hours enough to climb the ranked if we just kind of drive through it this way? Seems like a good start. 1 mana. I mean, we didn't have the ability to say yes to that. I'll take the free from flesh out, since we don't have a creature to drop it on. Try to throw our forge on turn 3. This could hurt. A lot. Sure. Nailed it. So the Bloodthirsty Adversary is a concern. Squeeze is a much bigger concern. Get us a card. There you go. Catch him back up. Okay. We need the blocker. If I can just block the Raiju. Good game. Close. Close, 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 but not enough. Thundering Raijus are pretty solid. I've looked at that as like the card that we might want. Whenever it attacks, you get to put a +1 counter on a target creature you control, and then it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control. Like, pretty solid. What kind of card is it? The sound of the thunder. We will never go under. It is a rare card. Yeah, no, I think we hold off. I mean, it's a good card, but it's not like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do without it? Why don't we play a different format here? I was goofing around with Mossy Enchantments. Um, surprisingly good. I've noticed a lot more enchantment decks that do a lot of like ETB effects when an enchantment enters the battlefield, or enchantment creatures all do this. It seems like enchantments more than artifacts have those kinds of triggers that allow them to grow. And a lot of enchantments are relatively weak cards when they start. I know that like in the enchantment jump in, both of the cards are 2/2s that you grab. So give you an idea, like there's just not a lot there. Can't keep it, unfortunately. We'll say yes to this, and we'll get rid of the Glorious Sunrise, because this is awesome. Well, the plan is falling apart. We don't have anything that hits the board at all. So this is just already over, because we'll be down to, I don't know, 4 or 5 health by the time we actually get something on the board, and that's just not going to work. Mono red, just going to beat the heck out of that. We try it again. 2 hands didn't pan out. I wasn't trying to be frustrated. It's just there's literally nothing that's going to give us an opportunity to play on that last one. We got the Jukai Preserver, so we actually do have something that will hit the board on this hand. But right, gonna want the Jukai out there, I guess. Yeah. Turn 4. I mean, I guess it's okay since we're up against mono blue, but it's annoying. I mean, we're gonna get this thing countered. No way. An impulse and draw a card. We're going to see a Haughty Djinn pretty soon. And the problem is we don't have removals in here. We don't have the ability to deal with it. There's not much I can do about that. Nice. I love the art. Search the Count's castle, huh? Cool. It's fine. Yeah. I'll do this again. Why not? Ugh. just quit this game too. We're not going to be able to do anything against a control deck. There's just not. It's not fun to play against. I don't know why they. I don't know why they have so much popularity. They're not fun to play. They're not fun to play against. They're just kind of, yeah, like, see, I didn't hit you. Haha, look, I didn't hit you again. Like, okay. We'll just get there and stand there and watch it get beat down. I swear this was a good hand, but if we can't draw anything that's in the first 5 mana, like, we do have a 2-drop this time. I was going to say, like, this is the 4th or 5th hand where not a single creature. It's rough. Rough, rough, rough. Just keeps going, man. It just, like, look at this deck. There are 3 Audacities. We've seen 7. In 4 hands, and we haven't played that much. Like, we only played like 3 turns outside of the 4 hands we drew. So it's you know, it's got a 2% chance, but for us it's a 150% chance. Like, it's woo, rough. Okay, I think we just do what? The Careful Cultivation is a really kind of neat rampy sort of thing. But I think we put the Communist Transients out and the Audacity here. It's overall like a better spell, and it kind of pumps. I'd rather have 2 3/3s than 1 4/3. Like, we can still drop the Careful Cultivation onto somebody. Probably Shigeki at this point, since he's already got one. And that's okay, because if an enchantment gets put in the graveyard, that thing can go right back to my hand. Yeah. Alright, we'll do this. Boom. This thing sacrifices itself to become a +1. That hurt. Should have seen it coming. Yeah. Yeah. Go away. Alright, Mr. Awakener. We ain't letting you awaken. Okay. Just take life. As soon as I get a creature, I will attack, because I don't mind the Kami going into the graveyard and coming back. Part of me thinks I should have probably already attacked. Yeah, I should have attacked. No blocks. We're gonna get some life back. Unfortunately, well, we got our attacker now. Oh, Elias, you didn't even block, you dirty bird. Close. You almost got that life game, baby. It was almost there. Knew that was coming. Okay. We're getting 6 life back. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Cammy. Big time. We'll get some land. We'll take some life. We're doing fine. Smart. Yeah, it's fine. No blocks. We should get a creature back. I definitely want to get Cammy out of here. Okay, so something interesting has happened in this mix. He hasn't understood that. Okay, well, that does help. Yeah, no blocks. Come on. Feel free to block whenever you'd like. Or don't. Completely up to you. Good game. GG. The glory of the sunrise. The glorious sunrise. Boy, this guy, he believed in his removals and he believed in his enchantment. And he said, look, you can't beat me. And we said, yeah, we can. We'll just keep gaining life and it'll be fine. We don't have to worry about a thing. Cool. So, 1,750 gold. One more win puts it at 1,850, but then it really slows down into increments of 50. Maybe going to happen, maybe not. Who knows? But we're going into the jump in. I can only think of smelling toes as a rhyme. That's not good. That's not good at all. All right, so we're spending 1,000 gold, and we're going to take a look and see what we got. And interestingly enough, we've got the citizens, which I need a reminder. The Park Heights Pegasus or the Halo Fountain. Womp womp womp. We know the Horde's got that janky guy that doesn't seem to be playable either. So Junkyard's Ashnod Flesh Mechanist actually has more to it than you think. If we can get her into a like partnered up with an Urbask Forge, you can get to exile a creature from your graveyard and create a tap 3/3 color zombie artifact. You may sacrifice another creature, and if you do, you get to create a tapped Power Stone. It's kind of weird. It's like a black-red artifact deck. Anyway, um, she's a 1/1 with Death Touch, and she's got other things that she does, like continuing to pull out 3/3s late in the game. So I'll take it. Not excited about it. Not excited about this. Not excited about that. The other horde, just double check. But what is the other horde? It's just the Grim Hireling. The Grim Hireling is a 4-mana creature, and whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to a player, create 2 treasure tokens. Then you can sacrifice X treasure tokens to turn them into bombs, essentially, against an opponent. And it's a 3/2, so hard to keep on the board. Comes out kind of late in this, turn, like in turn 4 comes out. Can certainly make a lot of treasure tokens, especially you got like a flyer or something like that that goes along with it. But I don't know. Is it part of the black strategy to make treasure tokens? Like, yeah, we'll do this. Cool. All right, we got a little bit better here. Onslaught is the Raven Man or a Liliana of the Veil, and I think we want either one of those. Ideally, we would get the Liliana of the Veil, like by a long shot. So that's almost definitely what I'd like. Smoldering Egg and Manaform Hellkite are what's found inside the Spellcraft, and that's no good. And Stampede is Squee or the Shivian Devastator, and I think we do have just 3 copies of Squee, but he's a legendary creature, which means that we can't get 4 copies of him in a deck because then we won't be able to play him that often. Like we'll literally have a card stuck in our hand. So it doesn't really improve our red deck to pick up our extra Squee. It certainly would improve our deck to pick up the Shivian Devastator, but I'd rather take the Onslaught Strike, because if we miss on this and we don't get the Liliana of the Veil, we still get the Raven Man, and there are some really fun decks that like draw, undraw, draw, undraw with the Raven Man. So we're going to Onslaught, I believe. Plus, the other cards in here are cards that I don't believe we have a lot. So we did get the Raven Man, and I think we needed some more copies of Cut Down, and we got the Ashnod. Those are the 2 cards that we ended up with. A Thraxodemon, like, that's not that much, but getting an extra copy of Go for the Throat's huge. Getting a Gixian Infiltrator can be amazing. I do like that. I like Emergency Weld. You can do this. Return a target artifact or creature card from your graveyard to your hand, and you get a 1/1 to go along with it. So for 2 mana, that's about as good as it gets. When it dies, you get a 1/1, and it's a 3/1. Ooh, ugly. 2/2 for 4. When it enters the battlefield, you lose a life and draw a card, and then you can do it again for 4. Ugh. Ugh. Destroy target creature or planeswalker if mana value was 3 or less. You gain 3 life. That's no bueno either. As an additional cost of the spell, you have to sacrifice a creature. It deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power, and you get to replace it with a card. And then 1 or more creatures die. So we've got Gixian Infiltrator and the Senor Connoisseur. I don't know. And then the Electrostatic Awakener, all kind of functioning on the sacrifice theme. So is this. But the negative side of it, I guess these welds, this thing dies into a 1/1. Those 1/1s are the things that we can sacrifice. Are Power Stone things that we can sacrifice? I think they say creatures for the most part, right? This one does say sacrifice another creature or artifact, so we can do some goods there. All right. So we've got a sacrifice deck. If you say so. The only positive side of this is like, yeah, exactly this right here. There's a really nice curve that's kind of built into the deck. That's the one thing I noticed was a lot of creatures on the low end and a lot of ability to grow these creatures as we go. Yep. So I throw the Ashnod because it's just mana efficiency. It's kind of risky to stick it out there on the early side, but what are you going to do? Gixian comes down next, just in case there is a something that hits the deck in a surprise, right? Then this one get the +1. Here comes the Roman. Okay. We don't like that. No. got like the domain burn deck. I don't know. Who knows? This is fine though. Could have double spelled. Probably should have. Looking at it now. Wish that didn't happen when it did. Player discards 2 cards. If the spell was kicked, it deals 3 damage to that player as well. We can kick it. He said, no, no, no. Oh, he used his burn spells on 1/1s and then petered out quick. Well, that was easy. Cathartic Pyre. It's not a bad card. Let's go back to our decks and see if Ashnod fits into anything. This is the deck that I built around the idea that we started to see a lot of creatures that had the blood tokens. And after using the Voldarian in the mono red deck for as long as I did, I started to recognize the power of those blood tokens, man. They're really pretty good. And then the other thing I started to notice was, dude, between Painful Conjury, Archfiend, Phyrexian Arena, the Gix, we're starting to pick up like some really solid black cards across the board. I mean, look at these. These are all rares or better, right? And I was like, so how could I marry up the blood tokens with the powerful cards? And I realized that things like the Vran and the Raven Man are a bit like engines with the blood tokens. And we did pick up our second Raven Man. So this deck just got a whole lot better. We'll go with here. The reason why is because when you sacrifice a blood token, you have to discard a card, and then you get to draw a card, right? So you're saying, I don't want that card. Let's see what comes next. Well, when you discard that card, the Raven Man makes a bird. It says at the beginning of the end step, if a player discarded a card, you get to create a bird. So you can only do this once a turn for the bird, not the discards. But if you're getting blood tokens from creatures once a turn, it kind of works out nice. It's a good way for you to clean through cards. And then after you're done discarding, you've got a bird, and then the bird is kind of a sacrificial sort of thing. You can use it to block. On the crackbacks, you can sneak in 1 or 2 damage if you think. But the cool idea of putting it in the blocking format is when it dies, it makes a 4 life swing against the opponent. They lose 2, you gain 2. That's a 4 total life difference. So you've got this kind of cool engine here where it's like Blood Ties hits the deck, blood token sits on the side. Raven Man does nothing. Raven Man creates a bird at the end of the turn because we pop the blood token. That bird comes out, and then Vran sits on the side doing nothing until the bird dies, and then bam, we end up with more health. So when they attack in, we end up with a bunch of health. They're like these little healers of 2 and little bombs of 2. Archfriend of the Dross has a death trigger as well, and it says that if there are no at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose the game. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, its controller loses 2 life. And I think the Puppeteer also says that when you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life, which again kind of comes back to the blood token strategy, right? So sacrifice decks are pretty difficult to beat once they get set up. Let me learn how to spell sacrifice here for a second. These blood tokens have the word sacrifice. I don't need a spell check. You need a spell check. What was I going to look at? I was going to look at sacrificial stuff. Sacrifice an artifact. That's what I was going to look at. So when you sacrifice another permanent, you put a +1/+1 counter on the Gix. And that's why I think that was such a good card to pick up. Because that thing now also grows when we sacrifice these blood tokens. And there will be blood tokens. Do not fear about the blood tokens, man. They show up. So between all of these different things to throw some blood tokens out, I would expect no less than 2 or 3 blood tokens available on just about every turn. So Bloody Black, fun deck. We made a little bit of improvement into it by picking up our second Raven Man, and since the deck itself has got just power coming out its ears, let's try it out. I think we're going to go up against a much more difficult opponent than we've been going against because of the fact that we just don't have too many commons and uncommons, and so it's going to try to match us up with decks that are equal in power, and that's going to get rough. This is good. 2 Blood Tithe Harvesters with just enough mana to cast it, and then nothing but 2 drops to go along. So we'll start here. Mono red, you don't know it, but you're already dead. Thanks, chick. Electrostatic infantry. What do you think? I think we'll remove this. It's got way too many predictions. Oh, that's good for us. That's just a, I don't want to say like a turn off, but there's a lot of stuff that can happen on that turn. Let's go with the Falcon Wrath, because it's just one less thing that we have to think about, and there's a possibility of double spelling the next turn between these two. Yeah. You can do it. Yeah, I believe it in you. Never didn't have it. Alright, so we need one more land. I'm trying to give him something else to think about so that he doesn't use a burn spell on the Falcon Wrath and instead uses it on the Blood type. But, yeah, that was going to happen. That's okay. Yep. There will be blood. Come on, land. Definitely. Oh, thank God. Let's go. Land. Ah, that sucks. Yeah, I think we do this. And unfortunately, I think we do this. And then we go next, and we attack, and let's see if they do a trade. Come on, land. I thought about cycling the blood tokens, but I felt like having the additional person was better. We can't take this much damage. So we're going to get rid of Blood Tithe. That's just what's going to happen here. Come on, red. Dude. Oh, man, I don't know if I can even pay the ward. Now you show up, huh? If I block my way out, I should be okay. Doesn't it say something like lifelink? I think that's game. Okay. Told that. Yeah, that's game. Good game. He had the burn. Unfortunately. Oh, we just couldn't get the land on the time that we needed it. We had the card in hand and everything. But what are you going to do? What are you gonna do? Okay. Just in case you're wondering, we're just recording some basic walkthroughs on jump-ins and deck building and those kinds of things. I am shocked that we got into just kind of a small ball fight with mono red there and just totally face planted on the whole thing. Um, haven't been getting the best of draws these days, like this kind of thing happening, but that's not the worst actually. I was looking at this thinking this was 3 mana stuff and that was a 2, but we didn't have the red. We should be alright though. We got the red now. One of the best 2 drops I think in the game because of the like card cleaning kind of mechanic that's built into it. At this point right now, you really want that Gixian Infiltrator as an example. Yeah. Let's go. Could take a trade here. Or you could just take the damage there. Okay. Decent removal / healing spell. I don't think I exile cards too much. Though. It feels like some things don't work the way they're supposed to. That is fine. We might be able to create a blood token here if we have her out. I'd rather trade here. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it again. Yeah, no, we're holding to that. Alright. That's the one we're looking for. How could you? Yeah, I think I don't know. Nobody's an artifact. Put him on 2 turn clock. Alright, Frenzied Trapmaker. That I would like to kill. And I can. So, star of the show, March of the Wretched Sorrow, totally changed that game very, very quickly. We cast it for full mana value in order to get rid of the scariest card in Green's deck, the rug that ties the room together, the 4 mana drop that lets you cast any creature for 2 mana on your next turn. If you don't hold back a removal spell for this thing while playing against wolves, it's game over. End of story. There's no way around this. Everything else doesn't matter. You gotta keep the Halpack Piper gone. Get out of here. No, 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 no. More shrines. That's cool. I've been looking at shrines in a few other decks. I'm starting to see them pop up all over the place. Um, the more shrines you have in a 5-color deck, the more things start to go your way at the beginning of your end steps or at the beginning of your other turns. You get these 1-mana options that start to exist, and they let you I don't know. They let you do different things, right? Like in this one, it says when you get to deal X damage to a target player or planeswalker, where X is the number of shrines you control. So for 1 mana, you can be tossing around 2 or 3 or 4 fireballs, like 4 damage fireballs. It's pretty solid stuff. Definitely one of the better ones that's on here. We'll keep playing the Bloody War, the Bloody Black, and see if we can't get that 150 missing gold. This one gets us 50 of it. And I don't remember if there's another 100 banger or not. It'll be interesting to find out. Mono red. Okay, Raven Man, let's see what you can do. I like the Phyrexian Arena on turn 3 if possible. If not, I'd stick the Necrogen Communion on the Raven Man. Esper Legends. So we're dead. I call it Esper Legends because this this card right here works well with Legends. And Raffine's Tower also has Esper's colors. This is just like one of the strongest decks in the game. It's got good things to do everywhere. This thing can get exiled and give your own card like some kind of incredible amount of. Here, we'll do this. We'll see. I don't think they carry like a lot of removal spell in Esper Legends. This thing can protect one of your legendary creatures. They've got really, really solid mana in these because you've got like a Triumph that you can get things done with. Adeline is just ridiculous on here. So there's no good answer for Esper Legends as far as keeping up is concerned. The best you can hope for is a board wipe or a massive removal spell. Right now, we don't have the kind of removal necessary for Adeline, but even if we did, Scroll needs to be tapped when we do it, and it's already over at this point. We can't fight this. I have a deck in the other one. It's really solid, and this was what I was worried about was if our hand has nothing but rare cards in it, we're going to go up against the nothing but rare card kinds of hands that are on the other side of the equation. They're really, really good. And we're not built with that kind of like 4 copies of the best one that goes with 4 copies of the next best one. We've got all these onesies and twosies. We've got kind of just a pile of cards that all have like an association with each other, but we're really carrying like 2 or 3 themes here. We've got the blood theme, we've got the sacrifice theme. So very, very tough to play against that. I don't think there's much I would say we could have done, and I could have told you that when the first land hit. And he figured that he was dead already before the first land hit. I think it's time to go to school for him. All right, 50. So we're up to 900, and now we switch back to cards. Hold on, did we get anything in the Mastery Pass? I guess not, huh? I'm not used to like not getting that pack because I've got the Mastery Pass on the other account. So I'm always like, when I get up a level, I get a pack usually. Sote. One thought could be that we draft. We do a quick draft. We still have a couple hours, which is enough to do a quick draft. We'd have to just go straight through on it. but we would get a lot of cards, and we have 1,000 gems. We wouldn't spend a ton of gems to do it. Let's do it. What do you say? Quick Draft City, huh? After this, we'll do it. It's a lot of little guys. No. So he's done nothing but tokens, exactly, which makes me think that that's what we're going to see here, right? I'm okay with that. I don't feel like trading my Biting Palm Ninja for all that. I guess we'll do this. Gotta get rid of this. That's enough. Okay. This is going to be tight. but I think we can do it. We're going to do the draft, and we're going to play as much as we can. I think we can get it done, though. So let's jump in there now. I was just looking at the time, and because I don't... Oh, look, the arena open just opened up. That's cool. We have an hour and 47 minutes. That gives us just enough time, I think, to knock this out. Let's do it. It's our last chance to pick up some of these cards before we lose our on an opportunity. And you can see, like, we don't have much going on here. We're here to pick up rare cards. This is a pretty decent rare vehicle, like card that has more to do with like the blue-white artifact kind of deck, but you can splash this color in to just about anything, and this is what we're here for. Slaughter Singer is an excellent card if you're trying to do the toxic, but it really pigeonholes you into one direction, whereas this thing can hit the deck, get some damage, and then give you something else. If 3 or more artifacts entered under your, like there's some artifact synergies going on. Okay, so a lot of good cards here. Blue and white are terrible here. Not a lot for us to look at. I'm not a big fan of black as a color, but these two are pretty good cards to go along with decent enough tricks to say that black will have us some wheel opportunities. So blue is dead, white is dead, and this is the only card that has green, but I like it. If I'm not taking a card in blue or white, I'm going to take the removal that keeps me um, in more decks than we think. So I think I'll take the black in hopes of maybe a Skull Dweller, or like, just because there's some future opportunity that's kind of built into it. Vraska's Fall, Surgical Spalm, barely, barely okay kinds of cards in here. Crawling Chorus is excellent. I do think I'm probably taking the one drop that just stays annoying the entire time. We haven't seen a lot of white of note. I don't think we're going to get a lot of white on the wheel. The Immobilizer can be pretty good. That's another decent card for us to look. It enters the battlefield with 4, and then it taps things. It's just a do nothing with 4 mana. That just kind of hurts. I guess we'll go with the Chorus. It's either the Chorus or the Batter Fist, but nothing is taking us towards red yet. And the Chorus has a lot of good usage. And we've got ourselves a bit of a color synergy going on here. We can start to think about leaning into artifacts now, because a blank 5 flyer for 4 is excellent, and the artifact deck in this is really, really good. This thing dies into an artifact, so we actually have quite a bit of synergy in the 3 best cards that we picked so far. So we don't see much in white. This is a white artifact. It's essentially a 4/3 for 5. That's not great. Against All Odds is good in the artifact deck because of the Mirrodin effect. You can exile a creature you control and then return it to the battlefield under your control, and then you can also get something out of your graveyard directly to the battlefield with mana value 3 or less. So lots of small ball kinds of game that's involved in all that. But the Gixian Raptor has so much control the sky capability, and it doesn't quite have the synergies here that we're looking for with the artifact, but it's by far the best card that's in that pack. We do have an artifact creature here. We do have a Skull Bomb, which is an artifact, and then we've got a Flensing Raptor. I do like the Flensing Raptor as a threat. It does deal a little bit of damage. It also sends one of your toxic creatures up and over the top, which is cool. We're not going to have a ton of toxic creatures. This is the other artifact that's in the pack, and it comes in with flash, and it taps a target creature an opponent controls. It opens the door for some good toxic attacks, I guess, if you want to say it that way. I think the best card that we want is the Chrome Prowler, although I feel like we're going to pick those up later, and I feel like we're not going to wheel anything past pack 6 here. Tough choices, tough choices. I feel like we take the Raptor. I don't want to. We don't have to do 100% artifacts. If it's available, we'll be fine on the artifact synergy. White toxic is not as easy to replace. Um, okay, so immobilizer wheeled. Is that right? Pack 7. No, I don't think it did. And then we've got a Strider, and then we've got a Enforcer that has artifact synergies. And I feel like a 2/4 that turns to a 4 when there's two, as long as two or more artifacts exist, I think we're going to end up with more artifacts on the deck. So I do think the Enforcer is not a bad card, but I do think the Immobilizer is a better card. It's going to be on the deck longer, and it's going to do more at the later stages of the game. Aha! A very nice Flying Watcher. Also a very nice Toxic piece of equipment. Um, that's also an artifact. They're both 2 mana to get out on the deck. And I kind of think that we want the Injector. Yeah, I want the Injector. I already have a flyer or two, and being able to turn this thing into something that's got some toughness, or even the Raptor, being able to make it just an impossible to beat kind of blocker up there is pretty cool. Um, a rare card that can turn into another one. This one is a very clunky removal spell, but you never know, right? Its spell costs 3 more if you target a creature, but everything else, enchantments and artifacts for 3 are gone. And so I do think that we take it knowing that we may not play it. We'll see. Prosthetic Prison's good for ramping, but there's not a lot of ramp that we need here. This is at least a threat in the artifact deck, so there's a synergy to deal with. And the Skull Bomb is our best bet here. We're just kind of grabbing whatever playable we can that has artifact synergies. Um, we did wheel the Against All Odds, which is actually pretty good if we end up picking up some more white equipment. And okay, okay. Now we have a choice. So I'm not that excited about a Swooping Lookout. It is an artifact. It is 1/1. It's great. Phyrexian Soldier here is pretty good for damage boosting, but it doesn't fit anything. Doesn't have that artifact synergy. And then this Filigree Silex. Um, how do I describe this card? It's just not the rare we want, if that makes sense. Like, there's not a lot of decks that we can build for a Filigree Silex until way late in the game, and I'm super into rare drafting, but there is a card here that makes our deck so much better in the Planar Disruption. Being able to get rid of a creature for 2 mana is just so powerful, especially early on. And, you know, a rare is a rare, but Planar Disruption is better. Okay, an artifact with an oil synergy, another removal piece, a toxic guy that lets us bounce a artifact, in which case we can get an extra toxic guy, which is kind of cool. Um, Probably the best card for us. We have this Skull Bomb. That's becoming essentially a 4/5 for 5, which is not great. This is also really, really good and low to the ground, and it's artifact, and it's a flyer. But the best thing we would do with it is right now is moving this over here. And this Ickerplate Golem, we don't have any synergy with it whatsoever. So the best thing it's got going for it is just the fact that it's an artifact. A 2/3 for 3 to get an artifact trigger is not the best answer. This is 5. It does give off 2, and you do get a chance to make a might, and that does trigger off more artifact synergies. We might actually be interested in an Infested Flesh Cutter. Just because it's an artifact that hits the deck that creates more artifacts. It's kind of like a never-ending engine for our artifact. It's just so much mana. Top deck this, we're dead. Top deck this, we're dead. But we don't have enough going on. man, nothing good here. Okay. Vanish into Eternity would be the other option as far as just clunky removal kind of piece. And I think we'll wheel this. I think we're taking this. We need the bodies, and it fits. Scrap Gorger's excellent. Black, white. Could we splash some black? We should be able to get to Corrupted. Huh. Another Crawling Chorus, which is pretty good. Another Indoctrinate Attendant, which kind of fits. We got some choices here. If we splash black, just hear me out. If we splash black, this thing is really, really potent. Having a 4/4 with Vigilance is not bad. Having the ability to destroy one of their creatures when you hit the deck is really good. How consistently do you think we are going to put Toxic onto them? Like, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We might pick up some more Toxic enablers. I think we take the swing. Be bold. Consider splashing black. Okay. Lots of red equipment. A black flying toxic creature. And a Necrogen Communion, which is like one of my favorite cards. We don't have a lot of ETBs except on the Flensing Raptor, but the point is that you're gifting Toxic 2 to a flyer. That's just so good. I would rather gift Toxic 2 to one of these things that already exists for 2 mana than to splash out here and then not have the black on time. I think we take the Communion, and we're starting to consider this black splash idea for real now. He's an artifact. He does annoy the heck out of other people. He is a 2-drop, but he doesn't defend at all. Over here we've got some more 4-drops, but I feel like with, you know, some decent 3s, actually, and kind of some confusing 4s, I would rather not play the Immobilizer. I guess we'll take this. Ooh, it's so early to take that, though. Ugh. Vat of Emergence is put a creature card from the graveyard onto the battlefield under your control and proliferate. But, I mean, that's a lot of mana to do that. We'll go here. We are having a rough draft. I'm not going to lie. I am questioning everything. I don't think it's an either or yet, but it is worth noting that, like, this white deck is not coming together the way that I want it to. Corrupted gives this thing double strike, otherwise it's a 4/4 flyer. Prologue to Phyrexius does redraw a card, it does give a toxic creature, it does fit this kind of toxic-y theme that we've got going on with artifacts, but we're in 2 different directions. And I'm not so sure that it's the best card for our hand, necessarily. Offer Immortality is a fun little trick. We're at about 15 playables if we go with the blue, and we're 18 if we splash the black, which we could still do. I don't want another Bardiche, and our curve is way too high, if you ask me. I do think that I'm going to take the rare card here. Prologue just doesn't do what we need to get done. It then we get a Ravenous Necrotitan. And that probably ends my blue, because that's just insane. Okay, we might not be doing much splashing. We could splash this. And we could splash this. Okay. What's that do to our curve? We're at only 7 creatures, so we need more creatures. In all fairness, this counts as a creature, so we're really at 8 creatures. Um, we're at about halfway through pack 2, and we're doing fine on playables. And I do like what's happening here at the top of our curve. And I do think that having a little bit of fixing that replaces itself and having some, thing to do where we might have not have the right mana are both really pretty solid. I think I'd take the Grimdark because the 5/5 Death Toucher is pretty hard to handle. And for each opponent who can't discard a card, I mean, look, that's a lot. Ichorplate Golem is an artifact. It would help the Cephalad Sentry. It does give us something to do at 3. And if we end up with something with oil, which I don't think there's anything with oil in white or black, so it doesn't really fit that side. So the main reason why you want an Ichorplate Golem doesn't pay off there. The main reason why you wouldn't want to take the Grimdark is just, like, not enough down here. One body. And that's it. Ugh. This one we had 1, 2, and this would be 3 2-drops. I think we splashed black. Still. Of all the 2-drops, though, this is like one of the worst. Okay, we'll take the better card in hopes that it doesn't come back again. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Yeah, that's not going to work. We can't take another one of those, so we would take a duress at this point. But finding playables at this stage of the draft is really, really tough to do. Vanish into Eternity is fine. Not great. Crawling Chorus, we got super lucky getting that back. That's really good. The Strider is another artifact at the top end. Much better card than 2 or whatever. Like, it's just kind of crazy. But our curve is way too high. We did get a second Prism, which I think is pretty interesting in the artifact deck. And we did get another one of these Bardiches. Okay. Another Planar Disruption for the removal. A Migalo's Maze Crusher is just excellent everywhere. So I think that we're going to miss out on the removal and miss out on the ability to play this. It says 22 playables, but honestly, these are cards that I don't think are playable. So well, maybe 1 or 2, right? So let's do this back. So yeah, you're probably playable too. Okay, all right. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 removal spells. We've got a rebirth spell, flying, gives you a second body, adds up all the artifacts, which we still have, by the way. We have a good artifact theme still, surprisingly. I'm just going to take this. It's a solid rare card. Like, crazy solid rare card. Haha! Never didn't have it. Ooh. 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 Okay. Tempt me once, tempt me twice. Look at this pack. So, for us, Skitterfang is great. It enables things to fly and get over the top. We have a bit of a flying theme going on. Once you get up here, you start to see that we've got a lot of flyers, which is good. We also have some big beatdown bodies here as well, a 6/6. Um, this can kind of help get you to corrupted by sending a relatively nondescript crawling chorus, or maybe one of those artifact creatures, one of these escaped experiments, or Malcator's Watch. Well, I think we're going to play three colors, unfortunately. We'll see. Um, so this is really, really good as far as winning the games go. This is a great rare card. It's not great in these decks, but it's great overall. And then this is the best card we could have asked for. Every time an artifact enters the board, it gets a +1. It's got lifelink. I think we have to take the Mandible Gesticular. I know that a Skitterfang is better, but not in our deck, and we need to lean into something at some point. We need to make a stand here and say this is who we are. Hopefully, we wield the Basilica Shepherd. We don't need any of these Meldweb Striders if we can avoid them. And Distorted Curiosity is just a counterspell. We're not really a counterspell player. So we're really, really happy to get the Mandibular Justice, though. That's excellent. This is also a really, really good card. So is this. Unfortunately, we're not in those colors. We're not in this color. But it would be nice to pick up another copy of that. Chimney Rabble's super playable. Zealot's Conviction can be an interesting trick. Kind of more of the toxic trick. But this Serum Snare is super useful in this. People just don't see it coming in this format. So I like it. I definitely like the Indoctrinate Attendant now that we are leaning into the artifact kind of side of things. And we're going to take you. And Eye of Malcator goes pretty good with the artifact deck. It basically turns into a 4/4 every time an artifact hits the table. This is an artifact creature, and it does something kind of interesting. Besides just being a remarkably good blocker, it also you get to draw a card and then clean out your thing. So very, very good at making sure you hit your drops and making sure you get your stuff. A second Eye of Malcator means that suddenly we are considering getting out of blue, or black. I'm sorry, not blue. Surgical Skull Bomb might be useful in our deck, if we aren't going to be doing the black here. Man, some of these cards in black are so good, though. It's hard for me not to want to still splash some things. Let's get rid of you. So, cards that we would love to splash. Like all of them. I think I'd put the Malcator's Watch back in, and we already have the Skull Bomb. Proliferation doesn't do us any good. Is there a card that we just want to own? We could just take the uncommon to own it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different black cards in this deck. We need to cut down 6 cards. So the thing about it is, the Prosthetic Prisms are all about. Yeah, we don't need. We can have another 2-drop over here too that we've got. The thing about the prisms are they're for fixing, right? And so the idea would be, yeah, they trigger artifacts, but the point of them would be to cast stuff that has one single black pip, like this. Man. I can live without this, and I can live without this. But I like these 2 cards so much. I like them better than some of these cards up here. Just in case we need a big blue body, because we're trying to get rid of the black bodies, like this. Oh my god. We wield the Skitter Fang? Oh my god. Alright, so we're just going to take the card that we don't own that we might end up wanting at some point. Prologue. Surgical Bay. Hmm. Cool. Such a good card. Just putting it out here. Okay, so we picked up 3 rares. Malcator, Purity Overseer is not a bad card. Migala's Maze Crusher, not a bad card. And a terrible card. So we could have picked up 4 and gotten the Spell Dancer, but I was a little nervous at the time on which direction we were going to go for colors. Um, if I just took all the black out, just as an example, if I do it like this, we run into a lot less mana problems, and we end up with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our 7 cuts. So we end up with, like, what's the artifact count look like? 13 artifacts, 14 creatures, 15, 16 creatures. Feel good about the creature count. I feel really good about the removal in this deck. What are our worst white and blue cards? The worst ones. I actually like this guy. Whenever another artifact enters the building under your control, you get to draw a card. And if you do, you get to discard a card. That's pretty awesome. I like these guys. Um, Weirdly enough, he's just got some power. He's not the greatest of like cards. I'm not so sure what the toxic theme here is. But you are an artifact, and you are an artifact. And just have a lot of cards that don't change the board state enough. Whoops. We have a problem. Hmm. I am not in love. And we're going to have to go. So, let's go with 16 lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Didn't we pick up a kitty cat? No. 5 bodies down here at the bottom with 1 bounce and 2 removals down here at the bottom. And one way to make something like the mandibular much more stronger, like much more capable of attacking in. These are great. We do have enough artifacts to go. Vanish into Eternity's not bad. It's gonna, I don't know, man. Maybe we should get rid of one of these. Actually, now that I think about it, there's just too many. What other body would we stick in here? Something like an immobilizer? Oh, we bring the raptor back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So essentially, we switch to an overhead theme, right, between the flying and the Eyes of Malcator getting tripped by all the different artifact triggers. I think we've got enough artifact triggers too, because it says we have 12 artifacts, but really there's like hidden artifact cards here, and there's hidden artifact cards here. So that's 3 more, like that also produce artifacts along the way. So that's pretty solid. I mean, that's enough to say, yeah. We may not win a lot here. We may win a ton. Um, the life gain, the prosthetic injector on here, the tripping of the crawling choruses to set off the Eyes of Malcator are going to be a really nice combo for a little bit later in there. Um, the Gixian Raptor controlling the skies, the Flensing Raptor enabling a little bit of corruption, but we don't need the corruption piece. So this prosthetic injector is really here for the +2, not the toxic 1. The +2 makes these so much better. I would much rather have a 3/2 with lifelink for 4. Um, or I'm sorry, a 3/4, because again, we're going to be playing an artifact that turn, and we're going to play artifacts pretty regularly in this deck. So let's go with it. I would love to have seen more Cephalod Sentries. I would love to have had more opportunity to, um, I don't know, lean into this, but this is really good. This is really good. This isn't bad, and this isn't bad. We should be able to get somebody there. We might consider leaning away from the blue. Let's just take one look at one thing real fast, just to see. Okay. Okay. And just pretending that we were at 17 lands. This is what the black deck would look like. And what the black deck wants to do is get you to corruption so that you don't have to give up a creature when you come in, right? Um, these top end threats are really tough to deal with, right? Ravenous Necrotitan is such a good card. I have a hard time not liking this. We don't have the 2-drops though, but we only lost 2. And we don't have the 3, so we're just so heavily weighted on the back end. I think the blue's better. I don't think I kept the immobilizer. Yeah, I like this better. Oh, wait, there it is. Skull Bomb or Strider? We'll take the Strider. This isn't going to win the game. This isn't going to win the game. These aren't going to win the games. We need like a bigger punter. Oh wait, that's why. I'm like, where are my good cards? That was driving me crazy. All right. I guess I'll take one of you out. What did I keep that I didn't have last time? 15, 16 lands. 2.7. Unfortunately, it's only 13 creatures. This makes 14 creatures. This makes a second creature. This makes a second creature. This makes a replacement creature. Okay. I still feel like one more creature card would be good. There's a creature card right there that definitely can slow things down. And we do have some air threats. And this thing could proliferate, too. Would I feel better about this guy instead of this guy? He might give us to Skitterfang a better shot, but at least he's going to give us a defense. I think we're playing defense while our Eyes of Malkators are going to pop out, and why all our relatively weak but, you know, pretty pervasive flyers fly over the top. So I think a defense is pretty strong here. Being able to stop a 4/4 is pretty good. Being able to stop a 3/3 is pretty good. Being able to stop a 4/4 and be able to fly and do some damage is kind of our win con right here, as well as the air stuff. And artifact triggers, you know, I mean, like, if we can get some artifacts to show up, we can get some extra 3/3s. That's pretty cool. But it's not that easy to do. It's so hard to walk away. Man. I really not liking what's happening here. All right, we're splashing black. Got an extra removal spell, an extra rebirth spell, an extra toxic piece for one of our flyers to make this. This is also a nice removal, 4/4 vigilance, very much in the splash category over here. Having two spells down here is a little scary, and I'm thinking we could live without the Drowning Ichor if we wanted to put in an artifact. We're still at 9 artifacts, right? So we lost 2 in there, which isn't too bad. I'm just moving an artifact down. Trying to curve out better. 2.5, 16 lands seems fine. Being able to clean any mana into another mana color is going to help with things like the Ravenous Necrotitan. We are going to need I think 3. We really want the white for the early stuff. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that we can do with white. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 that we can do with blue, and we don't necessarily need to snare a one drop. You know what I mean? Like, we could live without these things jumping off the board right away. Yeah, I think we're 3 color blue, black, white, and I think that we've got a neat artifact synergy going on. We've got some really solid removal in just about every color. So let's just hope that we can get the mana to line up once. When we're going to have to pretty aggressively mulligan, unfortunately. But Vivisection Evangelist, Cephalad Sentry, Ravenous Necrotitan, we have gotten so much stronger up at the top by taking on the splash technique. We have gotten some really nice mid-range here with some flyers between the Raptors And the Skitterfang, things are hitting the air, man, for sure. And the Malcator just creates another fat body that we can utilize in any way we want. It's not likely that we're going to pull the three artifacts enter the board at the same time unless we can time like a Crawling Chorus dying with a Mandible Justicular getting cast and a Prosthetic Injector. You know what I mean? Like we might be able to pull that off once, but it's not likely. So just look at this as a 3 mana, 3/1 kind of deal. Almost like take the haste away, but take a mana away, and it's become one of those attacking guys, the Chimney Rebels, right? And we like the Chimney Rebels a lot. So I think it's a keep across the board, and I think that the real experiment is going to be right here in the mana. Um, we're running 8 white in hopes of getting more access to white for some of these early bodies that hit the deck. We're running 5 blue in order to hit the blue cards that kind of exist in the 2-drop slot a little bit quicker. These cards can wait. They're okay if we don't have them on time. Um, this card helps us make sure that we get there on time, and it creates another artifact trigger, which is pretty cool. I just like our board presence so much more this way than with the Eyes of Malcators. They don't really create the board presence, and I don't know. I think that this thing is, if we can cast this thing on time, because we are able to sneak in a quick corruption between the Flensing Raptors, Crawling Chorus, Prosthetic Injectors, like that's our corrupt, enabling kind of deal, and the Necrogen Communion going on to something like the Malcator's Watch. So we've got some sneaky ways to get to corruption, and then if that happens, the corruption payoffs in black here are pretty solid. So hold your breath. Here we go. Strange deck. It's got too many themes going on at the same time, and I feel like we might not do well. It's okay if we don't, though. There's only an hour left, so we're going to have to play. We got 4 lands right off the bat, so we are flooding. None of them in blue, but I think we're calling it a keep, with the idea being that we are much more likely to draw a blue. That's okay. Decline. Yeah. I wouldn't mind not a white mana. Think we're already dead? But the only good news is these two are fighting in different directions. We could bounce the 3/3 if we get a blue. Okay. Kind of interesting. I think we'll do it. We got nothing else going on. And we can click next. We can go take it, send him flying, and then just attack with him. If I get the Serum Snare, I can bounce the 3/3. And I'd like to get rid of the Duelist of Deep Faith because of stuff like that. One more land lets us do that. Yeah, it's fine, no blocks. Yeah. Oh, come on, guys. Like, come on. Where I can't even cast this on anything, can I? Yeah, I don't understand. I can do nothing. Alright. Of all the things to get trapped on, blue was not the one I thought. It's like about a 20% chance of getting a blue card. We've drawn about a third of our deck. That's 13 cards. We should have had 2 of them by now. Then this happens. Yeah, and then there's nothing I can do about that. I'd like to do stuff about that, but there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing to do. Wouldn't mind a blue mana. I guess we should have mulliganed. I mean, I didn't expect to get stuck. Okay, that's game. 4 blue cards, which I only have 5 of. And 5 mana, none of those. Like I said, this could go terribly wrong, and so far that's all we've seen, right? We shouldn't have lost to that. But if you can't cast your cards, there's nothing you can do. There's not like a decision to be made at that point. So this could have been a huge, huge mistake. I would like to have won maybe 3 of these games in hopes, but we didn't draft very good on the value, and we didn't draft very good on the deck. We kind of just floundered back and forth, and the whole thing fell apart. Well, we're low to the ground now, which is good. We have 2 lands, and they're in the colors that we need, so we're going to keep. I don't like to keep 2 land hands, but I got 3 turns to get a 4th land, so of any color. Ideally blue, but any color's fine. Why are we playing against platinum players? We are friggin' bronze. Like, that doesn't seem fair. Yes, I'm smurfing. I get it. I shouldn't be complaining, but come on. We're miles away from being able to throw a Necrotitan out. Yeah. I just don't like the life gain there. Getting on the board early with the Toxic is good. Yeah, he's going to do some Dimir control stuff. Okay. Go ahead. Just use your removal. Yeah. Yeah. I take it. Come on. Ooh. That was a weird play. We get 3 toxic on him if we wait. What a bummer. Hmm. God, this just keeps happening. We are limited to nothing but bad choices. I mean, nothing. We could do nothing. I mean, I could throw the Flensing Raptor out there, and it would do nothing. It wouldn't block, and it wouldn't, and like get anything to happen. Come on, blow up. More stuff. Okay. Not what I expected. God. Can't do it. I got nothing. I got nothing. I got nothing. I mean, again, this is like the deck that just doesn't work, mostly because you can't draw land. Like, it just look at the land situation here. Look at the 6 lands. I got 3. I have just give me no land, just for fun. Just please do it. Ah, this is what limited is so messed up. It's so messed up. It's such a mess up. Why do you do this to people? Why would you one-side a game so much like that? Like, come on. Here, let's put you up against somebody who's 5 tiers higher than you, and then let's go ahead and give you no land. Let's see if you can do it. It's like, fuck you. Oh, I'll never, ever, ever understand what I'm supposed to do in this game. Just get mana screwed. 2 games back to back. Game over. Okay, we tried. It's over. I got good news. Well, at least we've got the colors. Again. Like, dude, just again and again. Here's another one. Take another one. Like, dude. You guys, man. You know how to really mess up my fun. So much removal. Well, we've drawn it. We just haven't been able to play our removal. Our removal's been mana locked like every other card in our hand. How did I know that that was removal? He like highlighted over the card and decided like, okay, I'm going to prevent the life gain from happening. Like, he just made a prediction, essentially. I think this guy is trying to do this, so I'm going to do that, right? Um, yeah, I think we do it. I'm fine with the trade. Even better. Okay, so we got him to corrupted. We don't have any black sources, so a black source draw would be great, or a cephalopod sentry, or just about any of these cards would be good. Anything that's not a 2-drop or a 3-drop, although I wouldn't even take a 3-drop at this point. That certainly helps clean what's going on here, and we'll do this and get rid of that, because that's going to put things in a better position there. And then we'll click next, all attack. We can hold him back, that's fine. It does mean that we've got 1 black mana, so the Vivisection Evangelist right now is perfect. Unfortunately, the Necrotitan is not. I mean, I'm going to do it anyway, right? Well, that kind of solved that. So, get the Incisor Glider down, which just means that they're threatening only 2 on the attack. And we can do a lot more in the air than vice versa. Yeah. So, when we get some mana, we can play our cards, and when we play our cards, we can do some good things. That's okay. Nothing to proliferate. It's a bad turn, I should say. But we need to do something. Okay. If he attacks in with his Hexgold Halberd, I'll definitely threaten the Doom Mover on the way back. Yeah, that was... I'll threaten that too. With that. Kind of need somebody with some beef at this point. Yeah, that's fine. Stop drawing lands, please. Give me something that hits for more than 1 or 2. Or give me a Necrogen Communion, or give me another removal spell. I'll even take a Mandiblar Justiciar, like a Mandible Justiciar. Like, give me something. Just not a land. It's been a lot of land at this point now. This is like kind of insane. There's been 2 cards that have not been lands. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Big guy. Big guy. No whammies. Oh my god. Big guy, please. Big enough. We'll call it. How about we get rid of the Hex Gold? I mean, we're actually in a really good blocking position at this moment right now. And getting something back on the Gixian Raptor makes a lot of sense. I just want to bounce the token on the Barbed Batterfist. I can stop some of this damage with the Transplant Theorist. And if I can play a big guy, I'll be pretty happy. So if he attacks with all 3, I'll take the 2 damage and remove the Dune Mover out of the equation. If he doesn't, okay. Okay. Big creature. He didn't attack. Oh, that could be one of the best things that could have happened. Sure. Oh, that hurts so bad. So we can take out Duelist of Deep Faith or Mere Convert. We can take out Dune Mover. 2. Whew, scared me. Come on. Come on. You have 4 attackers. Okay. I'm still waiting. I've got flyers. I've got big bodies. I've got the answer to almost all of this. I just don't need a land. 10 lands out of what? 22 cards. So almost 50% land draw. The Ravenous Necrotitan got milled. Like, come on. Come on. Yeah, I'll take that. What do you get? Mm. Okay, I think we're okay. As long as we survive this attack, we'll be fine. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We just need to block any of the damage, and we win. Finally? I'm not going to get cute. It didn't take much to do that. 3 different times we've been so frustrated. We got to win. Oh, cool. That's actually a super useful card. Okay. We've been doing this for about an hour, roughly. We're at 1 and 2. We got 3 lands, escaped Malcator's Watch. We just need one of those lands to be blue, and we're okay. All of them are blue? I got 2. Losing a card just on the hopes that we'll pick up something else just doesn't make sense. Why is it always this? Like, always. He's ramping to bigger stuff. I mean, we don't want to get stuck with the mana, so we'll take the 2 hit with the 1 toxic damage in hopes of drawing a white mana. Yep. If you use my move spell on that, I'd be happy, but... I kind of like the idea of putting a... Yeah. I like the idea of putting the Necrogen Communion on the Malcator and attacking in. Right? when you need to crew 3. Let's go for it. It's a bold play. I like what I'm seeing. Blue, white, black. Without white. Okay. I do think that one has earned a disruption. And I think that we could go with an escaped experiment. So we can nullify the Sheoldred's Head Cleaver. We can attack with everybody. Yeah, kind of like this. I want to see what the card is. Oh yeah. There are some pump spells. It's not likely, but they exist. This could be a win. This is what our deck is supposed to do, by the way. We're supposed to be able to use Malcator to create some cool stuff, get the artifact synergies going, control the other side of the table. Like, these are the things that we're supposed to do. So, 2 wins. Whew. When we're not meta screwed, we're alright. We are alright. Especially going up against some pretty solid players here. One more win and, dude, I'm totally stoked. Even if we don't get it, though, we had to take a shot. We had to try, right? Alright, let's take a look and see what the kids are up to. Anybody we got it? I don't think so. We've been way worse on the manuscript situation, so we're going with it. These planar disruptions are going to come in real handy against some big green dudes. It's not a big green dude, but it is a guy. Probably don't attack at this point. He's kind of covered up, and I hate to use the planar disruption on a 2/2. I'd rather look at like a scary flyer, a death toucher, or something along those lines. Even a mere convert's actually a better solution. That's really, really good. Okay. I'm okay with that. We need to get that toxic going. So the Malcator is interesting. I don't think it's that good, and I would totally trade with the convert. I think the reason why it would be good is if we can get the Necrogen on it. If we can't get the Necrogen on it, it might have already served its purpose, and just stopping a mere convert from coming at us is probably worth it. Yeah. I do think that we keep the mirror convert out. We disrupt that because it can get really, really big, really, really quick. Let's see. Auto pay. And we can all attack that. So, if we get a black man, which I don't think we will. That's fine. No, that's fine. If we get the black mana, we've got the free attack, right? If we don't, that's okay. We'll still all attack in, I think, here. And then, what do you say we go with... I mean, we're down to 5 damage left, right? So we're just going to double spell this out. He's got 1 blocker, now he's got 2. They're both glass. And... okay, my turn. Cool. So, 1 flying blocker. I think we're doing this. We're doing this, and we're saying attack, attack. Okay. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Plan our disruptions, man. Pick the right ones to get rid of at the right time, and you just win the game. If you don't have the removal in this game, you're in trouble. Okay. We got more wins than losses. 500's great in drafts. I think, especially like anything above 500 is just gravy. I hate it. We've been mana screwed so many times. This is a turn 1, turn 2 kind of hand that just easily corrupts people. But I'm going to mulligan. I don't think I improved things. I only have 1 card. I had 2 cards that I could use on the first hand. Of course it's white lane. Is that the last white lane? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 5. Almost got them all. Like, come on. Blue, mana. Or white card. Or blue card that you can't cast. Let's see what happens. I'd happily take this trade. can't use your mana, the game is over. You just lose. There's no smart way to play around that. If you give me another piece of mana that I can't use, then the game is over. Because in this format, you don't survive taking 2 turns off. And this is a whole turn off. So, the frustration is real and never ending. I know. I'd trade with the Chimney Rabble. He's got a removal spell for that thing? Weird. I think the strategy... Oh, good. More white mana. What would I do without you? This is bullshit. It's very frustrating. Yeah, if I only had a card that did 1 damage across the board, it would be devastating to this poor kid. But it's not like I'd have the mana to cast it even if I fucking did. I'm sorry, even if I did. Alright, so GG's. Okay, so 3 losses, all 3 because we couldn't find the right mana at the time. We either got flooded out or we got no mana that we could use to cast. That is the definition of a terrible, terrible, terrible draft format, right? When that is what decides all of your games, it's the format's fault. it's not on anything you can control at that point. It wouldn't matter what cards you picked. Um, this is great. We ended up with 4 rares that we wanted to pick up. 2 of them, which I think have some good usage, but we also ended up with some interesting Necro Titan cards, which I think like Orzhov's Invasion in here could use like pretty well. See how we've got this like corrupt sort of big guy going on. We got another Communion too. I think we got our third. It could have been our fourth one, but the Necro Titan is the one that was kind of the big grab for this deck. This is good too. Where is the Necro Titan? There we go. We got 2 of those guys. So there's a lot of power at the top of this deck now. What I would get rid of would probably be down here at the bottom, just because yeah. What do you think about that? Definitely some beef at the top. All we're trying to do is get to 3 down here at the bottom. Um, if we can get corrupt, this deck comes alive pretty well. And if we can't, we still got a 6/6 flyer. So we're okay. All right, that's going to call it.